back, everybody. Our first guest tonight is an Emmy Award-winning actor and comedian. You know from his work in movies such as Ghostbusters, Groundhog Day, Lost in Translation, What About Bob, and The Royal Tenenbaums, and shows like Olive Kitteridge, and of course, Saturday Night Live. His new film, Riff Raff, will be in theaters everywhere on February 28th. Let's take a look.
Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
I was hoping for more of a 7-Eleven type vibe, you know? You got any, like, Slim Jims or something?
No Slim Jims. All that processed garbage is causing chaos in your stomach. Have a little consideration.
What are you talking about?
Past 2 hours, you've been passing gas like a very sick infant.
Please welcome back to the show, the legendary Bill Murray, everybody.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Very well. Very nice to have you. Very nice to have you back in the building.
Thank you. It's nice to be back in the building.
Yeah,
It really is.
You started coming to this building, 49 years ago, I guess, for your first year of the show. When you're coming back, obviously you're going to be back here next Sunday for the 50th. Do you have anxiety? Does any of that come back when you walk in here?
Well, just walking in from the elevator to here, you see all kinds of crew kind of people that look like they're working, and people look at you like, is he working? Is that person working? Everyone wants to make sure they're either not supposed to be working or working and they're not supposed, they're just trying to not get busted. So it's that feeling. It's like it's a great feeling. It's an NBC.
It is. There's an energy.
feeling,
You're right. That thing of like the hallway, the way people work in this hallway unlike any hallway in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can look very much like you're working and be doing absolutely nothing at all. It's extraordinary. It was a lesson to be here. It was an education.
Yeah. You this movie's fantastic, and let me just start by saying you do the thing that's a very dangerous thing to take on. You have a wonderful Boston accent in this film.
Thank you very much. I worked pretty hard on it. There's a really cool voice man named Louis Coliani who's from New York, and he helped me do this because there's nothing worse than a bad Boston accent.
100%.
It's the worst. It is the worst. It's like almost as bad as a bad Cockney accent.
Yeah.
But worse, I think. And this fellow helped me do Franklin Delano Roosevelt, which is a really hard voice too.
Yeah.
He had like 5 different voices that he used. So he's a really great tell. I don't generally do much with my voice, but that guy, he really helped me.
Fantastic cast: Ed Harris, Gabrielle Union, Jennifer Coolidge. Most of your scenes are with Pete Davidson. Did you enjoy your time working with Pete?
Yes, I was frightened at first. I'll admit that.
That's good instinct. That's good instinct.
It was great. Well, I was alert. It was good. We took turns being alert. It was cool.
There's you guys have a natural chemistry. Can you tell right away you're going to have a chemistry with an actor or actress when you start doing scenes with them?
Well, I think so, yes. That's a really good question. You can see if someone's trying, is like trying to control themselves and not just let anything fly out of their mouth or their body.
Yeah.
And he was very much, when someone's, like the person sitting next to you, Are they giving a damn about you, or are they just in here like this,
Yeah.
But he was really that way. He really wanted to do well. And you can't be friends with an actor unless they do the job first,
Right.
Don't try to be my friend. We got work to do. And if you do the job, then we can be friends. And I would say Pete and I are friends.
I like seeing you in movies. You got a couple more coming out. Another Wes Anderson coming out.
I'm really about this movie thing. I really, no, I like making movies. I miss, this is nice to see 200 people in a room. This is a cool room. I like what you've done with this room. It really feels warm. Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah.
And, but I like movies. I like the theatrical presentation of motion pictures. I like people in a room seeing a movie together. I don't particularly, streaming doesn't knock me out or anything, although I watch movies by myself in the middle of the night. I like to go and see it with a bunch of people. And I've made 2 movies that are really good. I think 3, actually. Because this Wes Anderson, he makes good movies all the time. So, and this other one is called The Friend, and it was made here in New York, and it's good. And Naomi Watts is in it, and she's really good, really, really good.
That's
in the
really
movie.
exciting. I'm glad that we have that to look forward to as well.
Yeah, they're both really good, and I'm hoping to. So you know, I'm supposed to be talking about Riff Raff, but I like to just talk about.
That's all right. You can talk about all the good stuff. Yeah.
They're all really good, and I like being around people that like to make movies. Like, you know, you like people like. Just a second ago, we were in that room with that other guy who made TV so good for
well,
so
let's
long.
just, I mean, we don't have to keep a secret. Your friend David Letterman stopped by in the green room to say hi to you before the show.
Yeah, so it was fun. The three of us were in there, and you know, Dave was nice, and you know, Dave said how proud he was of the work that Seth was doing, and then I had to say that too.
Yeah.
So it was.
You were, of course, the first guest when this franchise started in 1982. You were the first guest on Dave's first show. What was your expectation of a show that was on after Johnny Carson that seemed? I mean, you know, it remained inventive, but it must have felt so different than anything else.
Well, you know, Saturday Night Live was a show like, who the hell's going to watch a show that's on 11:30 at night? Well, who's going to watch a show that's on after that?
Yeah.
You know? Who's going to watch this show?
On weeknights,
but
no
on
less.
weeknights, no less. So I wasn't, you know, I thought, okay, and you know, and so Lauren was involved with it, and you know, NBC, and I'm thinking, okay, they got an idea. They probably thought this through a little bit, and they got you, and they're like, let's kick open the doors of this thing a little bit. And Dave was a guy who was like yourself, very attentive to detail and really worked at the job. He was not the guy phoning it in. Dave Letterman's a really hard-working guy. He's a jerk, but he's a really hard-working guy. And he made his crew and all the people that worked on his show, they really wanted to make the show good for him. They were really devoted the way a military man would, a general would inspire his troops. And, you know, I think that I get that feeling from your people, too.
That's very nice of you to say. You, of course, were the established guy when you did that show in 1982, but you came into SNL the second season. And so at that point was this hit show. You were the only new guy they brought in.
Right.
And what were your early shows like? Do you feel as though you fit in right away?
No. Well, actually, the first day, they hired me to come for a look-see, and they wrote me 3 great sketches that I killed. That was great. I was really good, and I was like, God damn, this is great. Well, then that was it. No one ever wrote a sketch for me for like 7 months or so. I was the second cop, the second FBI man, the second plumber. I had like a line or 2 lines a week. And it's kind of hard to establish yourself when you say, oh, I'll go get the other wrench. You know, it's just, anyway, so it was a long time coming. And because the writers just don't trust you. They don't know you. And they just want to, you know, they want
to give it.
They want their material on with somebody that they trust. So they didn't know me.
You did a very novel thing, which is you gave an apology on air. This was, you know, basically an apology sketch, for lack of a better term. But was this your idea that you wanted to go on and apologize to the audience?
Well, it's funny because I had the idea. I thought, God, I got to do something where, because if I were watching this show, I'd say that guy's got to go.
Yeah.
They got to get rid of him soon, you know. And I felt like I had to cut that off. And before I even said it, Lorne Michaels said, I got an idea for you. And it was the same idea. And I said, great minds, Lorne, great minds. And so it was kind of a fun thing to do.
Here's just a clip of the beginning of you apologizing to the audience for the work you've been doing on the show.
Hello, I'm Bill Murray. You can call me Billy, but around here everybody just calls me the new guy. I want to thank the producer, Lorne Michaels, for urging me to speak with you directly. You see, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think I'm making it on the show. I'm a funny guy, but I haven't been so funny on the show. My friends say, how come they're giving you all those parts that aren't funny? Well, it's not the material, it's me.
And that was sort of known. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Did you feel a difference after that sketch?
Well, I felt like I was really being myself.
Right.
You know, so I felt like people got to see who I really was. I really meant all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and I meant to be funny, and I meant to be, like, knowing how I was missing, you know, like spinning at 32 RPM. You know?
I remember when I started the show, I had this real anxiety about reading, deep diving into the history of the show. And then it wasn't until like 3rd season that I read one of the books that talked about that moment and talked about how you felt in your early days on the show. And it was such a great relief for me to realize, oh, everybody who comes through here has the same. Nobody hits the ground. I mean, with rare exceptions.
It's really true. And people talk about Saturday Night Live, and I still hear people say, oh, the only good time was the first group. And well, that's not true, you know. The first group was the most exciting group because it was brand new, but there's a learning curve that goes with doing the show. And it takes you about a year and even more to learn how to do it. And when we did it, there were only 7 of us on the show, and now there's 20, 25
It's a lot.
people fighting to be on the show, and you don't get enough reps, you don't get enough playing time to really get to
Because it
learn
turns out second plumber ultimately is something you're learning. Like even second
right.
plumber, you're taking something away from it that is valuable.
That's right. You know, you're getting some playing time as second plumber, but there's been a great material and great actors and actresses on that show all 50 years, and I really believe that this week's show could have one of the funniest scenes ever written. They have, you know, the writers keep coming and the actors keep developing and getting better and better. So it's really a landmark television program.
You'll be there for the 50th, but you haven't hosted for a long time. Is that something you'd want to go back and try again?
I actually called the boss and said, you know, I thought I'd like to do it just in case it was the last time. So maybe later in the year I'll get.
I think everybody would like that a great deal.
I'd like to try it one more time. It's not easy being the host, you know. It's not easy. It's because you can't hide. There's nowhere to hide.
No. Yeah. Even if you want to be the second plumber, they're like, no way.
Yeah. No, you'll be first plumber. Yeah.
What an honor and pleasure it is to have you back. Congrats on the film. It's really wonderful.
Thank you.